Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the difficulties of being a physical media YouTuber because it's something that I have a great insight into, being one, and it might help some of you who are starting your channels, or it might even help you with understanding some of my mentality when I'm doing a video. So obviously I've launched a couple of new channels, relaunched I should say, because they already existed, but I'm relaunched gaming and I did a gaming video. Now, part of being a physical media YouTuber is I do cover a lot of categories. I cover wrestling sometimes, I cover gaming, I cover a lot of stuff that just isn't necessarily physical media. But if I did all that on Presents, for example, Jamie Toomey Presents, which is my main channel, then some of what will happen is it'll get lost in the fold. People don't watch it. People don't care because my audience is based in physical media. So part of the idea is that the algorithm for YouTube decides based on your audience. And they decide, oh, people are watching the gaming videos or watching the physical media videos, but they're not watching gaming. They're watching gaming, but they're not watching physical media. They're watching all of that, but they're not watching wrestling. So there's a lot of things where you look at the views, you look at the retention, you look at all the analytics. And look, I'm guilty of this, but the stuff where I trigger the audience or talk about triggering topics like, hey, physical media is not as good, or it's going on the decline, or it's more expensive than it's ever been, or my collecting journey took me this route, or whatever. Those videos tend to do relatively well compared to everything else because my audience cares about it. My audience resonates with it. We're all collectors, or most of us are collectors, or we're looking at collecting for those of us who aren't necessarily doing it already. But a lot of us resonate, and it resonates with a lot of people because it's like, hey, yeah, I understand this. Whereas if I'm suddenly talking about gaming and people don't care about gaming, then it's going to be a bit of a question of, okay, not really my topic. I don't watch that video. I just don't watch it. Now there's the people who watch everything that I put out, and I love these guys. But also, look, there is a lot of stuff about being a YouTuber that is kind of difficult, especially in the physical media space. So many people in the physical media space will grab a new movie, like, let's just say, I don't know, what's a movie here I haven't seen? I haven't seen Daddy's Home, so let's see Daddy's Home. They will grab Daddy's Home and say like, hey, it's a new copy, oh, it's shot in whatever, it's HDR10 or whatever it is, and they will look at that and do a review on the movie. The reason I've sort of steered away from doing movie reviews and doing full like, hey, here's the peak brightness and here's the bit rates and hey, here's what this hits and what doesn't. It's because I don't care about that when I'm watching a movie. I don't care how beautifully the frame rate holds up. I don't care about that. I care about, hey, am I entertained? Am I enjoying the movie? And also, what do I want to relay? Like, obviously, if I enjoy the movie, I'm going to rave about it on my channel. If I don't enjoy it, I'm going to talk about it like I do with Terminator 2, with that transfer. And when I talk about transfers, I'm also like, oh, is it the one that people should spend their hard-earned on? Like over here, you can see in the background, I've got a Dragon Ball set from France. This doesn't have English subtitles on it, but this kind of looks very good. Like, this is the one that has the original broadcast audio reinserted into it. So this has better audio than what's on Dragon boxes and stuff. So that has the ones that came off VHS tapes. And look, there's a lot of times where I don't have a topic. Like starting this video, I didn't have a topic in mind other than, oh, I want to talk about being a YouTuber. Sometimes you just don't have a topic. Sometimes, yes, the audience can say, hey, talk about this, talk about that. But you've got to have something to talk about as well. You've got to kind of be like, okay, you say I'm going to talk about this, but I don't really have an angle for it. Like, so many times I've heard like, oh, can you review this movie? Or, hey, talk about your collection. Or, hey, show us your setup. And I'm just like, okay, I've kind of half showed people my setup in the past on, if you follow on the socials, and if you're not following my Jamie Toomey Presents on Instagram, that's where I consider my center point on the social medias. And I have social medias just about across everything now. I've brought most of them back. But also, like, there's a part of me that, like, it becomes difficult to do YouTube videos because I'm trying to do videos constantly. I'm trying to do a new angle. And when you've been doing, like, I'm like 400 videos in at this point. I have like 400 videos on my channel, or over 400 videos now. I think I hit 400 a couple weeks ago. But when you've hit 400 videos and it's like most of it's the same topic, it's like physical media this, physical media that, collecting this, collecting that, DVD this, DVD that, Blu-ray this, Blu-ray that, 4K this, 4K that, it's kind of repetitive. And so often you look at for new topics, you're trying to find like, what is the market? What are people reacting to? So I've recently tried doing reactions. And there's a reason for trying to do reactions, because I want to try something different where it's not necessarily just me either dissing physical media or saying I love physical media. I want to try something different. Now, a lot of you know I love physical media. There's also a lot of times where I don't love physical media. So it's kind of like this balance of I love it, I love what it represents, I love what I have in my collection here. The flip side is that there's also dilemmas of like, hey, this costs a lot more than streaming did. And the amount I've spent on this is probably like 50, 60, maybe even 70 grand or something. Who knows at this point? Like, I don't know how much I've spent on it over time. Maybe even in excess of 100, I don't know. But there's a lot of money into this collection. And some people just are like, that's not justifiable. But being a physical media YouTuber, you have to be positive about it. You have to be like, I would never change a thing. Honestly, if I had to do it all over again, I would just collect my 100 favorites and be done. Honestly. Because I'm realistically, outside of like Titanic and outside of Jaws and outside of Jurassic Park and stuff like this, I'm not really watching outside of a certain amount of movies. I'm not really going beyond it. Now this, I like how it's been arranged in these boxes. Like I've got stuff in boxes now where I can very easily access things. I won't grab that because it's going to be too messed up in there. But let me see if I can get the Xbox games down. So I've got a couple of Xbox games in this box. And I've got the 360s and Xbox One games folded down, but I keep all the original Xbox games in the covers because the original Xbox games the covers are kind of half the value. But the Xbox 360 games, they're pretty common. So I've got like Just Cause 2. I took that out of the cover because I'm not playing it that often and I wanted to fit as many in here as possible. So there's a lot of time where I put them in boxes and I'm just like, this works for my collecting habits. And sometimes you'll get collectors who say, how could you ever do that? How could you do that to your collection? Why would you do such a crime against your collection? And then you have the people who are like, I actually understand this. Like, this is a smart move to do. This is very smart. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is very smart. But, constantly as being a YouTuber, you're trying to find a new angle. You're trying to find, like, the angle that nobody's covered because everyone wants that big hitter. They all want that big hitter video. They all want that video that goes beyond every other video that is on YouTube and it's going to make them world famous for physical media or whatever. Everyone wants that video. Everyone's trying to search for it. I'm sure, Films at Home has searched for it for many years. I'm sure you see Serial at Midnight search for it. Angry Video Game Nerd, I've even seen that Last Gamer was tweeting the other day, and that's kind of reassuring that Joel may not have sold his collection from what I've seen from what he tweeted. And in all fairness, it was in response to Yukihiro, or the game designer. I forget. I don't know if I'm butchering his name or whatever, but yeah, it was kind of like I saw Joel tweeting, and I was like, cool, he's still in the collecting space, even if he's not actively promoting his voice out there like he used to. Like, there's another collector who's still kind of there, and he's still there. And I don't know if he wants to interact with the fan base, but it's cool to see people like that. And I'm sure that after a certain point, he probably just gave up on YouTube for the same reason I probably gave up on YouTube, because he had like 72-part series. And after you do as many videos as I have, 400 plus, you start drawing for okay, where do I draw relevancy from? Where do I become more relevant? I know, let's get Geraldo and let's do puppet stuff because no other YouTubers are doing puppets and doing like a kind of kooky kind of puppet thing. And that's part of the fun as well. You try to find new angles that nobody else is doing. You try to make it more fun. You try to do a lot of different topics. But also I need to look at it as like, there's a part of me that really draws for topics sometimes. There is a part of me that really doesn't know what to talk about. And so, yeah, reaction videos now, where I'm starting to do these reaction videos, they might work. They might be very interesting because I'm not necessarily trying to force myself to come up with a new topic that I've got to find 10 to 20 minutes to talk about for some reason. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to get knocked for being, oh, this is too negative or too positive, or hey, what's this? Or, I can just listen to someone talk and be like, that's right, that's wrong. Oh, yeah, I know this. And then talk from my own journey. There are so many times where I look at my collection and I'm like, I kind of want to do what Joel did. And, Last Gamer, I kind of want to do what he did at some point and be like, you know what? The world's seen enough of my collection. Maybe it's time to just go back into the bubble, shut it all down, and just live with my collection. And I like my collection. Or sell it all. Who knows? Maybe I do sell it all. But, it is difficult being a YouTuber. And I think a lot of newer YouTubers need to be cautious about how fast they're burning through content. Because, you know, some of those YouTubers like me, we burn through topics like crazy. We're constantly reporting. And you might say, oh, we'll pick up a couple new releases and do reviews. I've got movies in my collection that I have had for well in excess of 6 years at this point. Or there's some in my collection, even if I go back even further to my DVD and so collection, that date back 20 odd years that I still have not watched. And that's a problem because, you know, if I'm going to start with watching something, you're saying, oh, run and buy the new one and talk about the new one. Extra content, good views. It doesn't do as well as you think it does. It falls off after 48 hours. And that's kind of the YouTube algorithm testing you. But also, when I make a video, and I'm talking from the heart here, when I make a video, I want it to have some meaning. I want it to be connected to me. I want it to have some sort of relevancy to what I am experiencing as a collector. Even if it's me just coming on having a whinge about Terminator 2. The reason I do that is because I know the fan base, it's an easy target for one. It's a very easy target to go after Terminator 2. But honestly, I do feel strongly that Terminator 2 was the wrong move to put on 4K in terms of the way it was put on 4K. And I think Cameron needs to fix it. But, in fairness, I don't have topics to talk about most of the time. I'm winging it a lot of the time, and I'm not having a big production team who writes stuff for me and says, hey, we're going to talk about this today. I don't watch the inspiration tab of YouTube as much as people think I do. 9 times out of 10, I hear something on Campia, or I hear something on Films at Home, or I hear something, whatever, Zero at Midnight, or Phil with a double L is talking about, or whatever. And then I'm like, that would make it for a good topic, but how do I put my spin on it? How do I make it mine? How do I do it that doesn't just sound like I'm relaying information that I heard from Last Gamer, or heard from Phil with a double L, or heard from Angry Video Game Nerd, or so on? How do I do it in a way that really is mine? And that's what I'm going to try to focus on going forward. Like, even the reaction videos are more mine than anything, because I like that I'm reacting to people and trying to give them a platform. Like, obviously Presents has built an audience. And, like, when you get to this certain level, I feel like me as, like, a relatively big YouTuber as a start out, you know? I'm not like Jeff, or I'm not like, Serial at Midnight, or I'm not like, I'm not like the big YouTubers. I have a relatively small audience. But my small audience is still much bigger than some of these coming up YouTubers, so I can help them with my audience that likes physical media say, hey, look at this YouTuber, or hey, look at that YouTuber. You might like them as well. That's part of the fun. And that's why I'm kind of doing reaction videos at the moment. I'm kind of trying to get my audience to see different ways of doing content, and then my opinion on their content. Because as you guys jump in the comments on my stuff and react to it and whatever you need to do with it, it's cool to hear my reaction to their content. Although I don't know about reacting to the big YouTubers. I don't think necessarily that Films at Home is going to be enthusiastic about me reacting to his videos. I mean, he might have a bit of an issue with me putting my spin on his videos. And I don't know. I don't talk to Jeff. I don't really know the guy. I don't really interact with him. But, I'm not going to... And 9 times out of 10 with the smaller YouTubers, they're humble. They're a bit more like... And Jeff might be humble as well. I'm not knocking Jeff. Sorry. Jeff, I love you, Jeff. But, with the smaller YouTubers, they would appreciate, hey, he's got an audience and he's given us a shout out. If I can get some of that audience over here, 9 times out of 10, they're just happy to have someone reacting to their video, or reacting to what I bring to the table. And I can help them out while they help me out. Like, I'm having relevancy and the island of relevancy. And, a lot of us are trying to stay relevant, or like trying to find ways to do videos that we haven't done before, because when you're 400 videos in, it's hard. And it gets harder the more videos you do. And sometimes it's like, unless I start rehashing old videos, where do I go? And that's a question I've been asking. Where to from here? That's why I'm relaunching gaming. That's why the gaming channel's back. That's why Reacts is going to be set up, so I can react to, like, Tyrone Magnus, whatever. I watch a lot of reaction YouTubers. I watch Asmongold. I watched, Moist Critical, Penguin Zero, or whatever he goes by. Charlie goes by now. I think it's Penguin Zero, but Moist Critical. I watch a lot of their YouTubers. I watch Campia. I watch reaction YouTube. But also, I don't want to necessarily just be another reaction channel. I want to talk physical media mainly. I want to talk Movies mainly. React to, hey, why did someone think the disc wasn't good? Or why did someone think like peak brightness or whatever was good? That's why React is going to be its own thing. It's not going to be on Presents. It's going to be its own thing. But, you know, there's going to be a few reaction videos that end up on Presents at some point, like I have been doing. But that's the thing. I'm always trying to look for ways to do it smarter. I'm trying to look at ways to do it where it's all integrated, where it's all kind of all connects and you have that whole vision of how you want it to be and how you want your channel to be a reflection of yourself as a collector. I don't know, guys. I just wanted to come on here and do a video because I need to do one. And honestly, I just wanted to do one. I didn't know what to talk about. I just wanted to talk about being a YouTuber. Because sometimes I'm forcing videos. And I think you guys realize it. I think you guys are kind of on the video saying, here's the same 5 topics every other video, and it's been doing that for years. That's true. I do the same 5 topics. I do the same topics every other year, every other month, every other year. And I want to change it. I want to figure out new topics. I want to figure out how would content resonate in a way that gets views. Like if it's getting 300 views and it's like nobody is interacting with it or whatever, it's not a win. If it's getting even 1,000, it's good. It's a good day if it hits to 1,000. But even then, it falls off after 48 hours, and I'm like, why is this not retaining people? Why is it retains people? It keeps the retention, but YouTube's not pushing it. That's the thing. I'm trying to be authentic. I try not to do these things scripted. I talk from the heart. I talk from where I talk off the top of my head without a script. And you guys know it because I don't hide it. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing these things without a script. I'm doing it without a writing team. I'm doing it without putting content in here, without cross dissolves, without licensing content, without licensing music. I keep it as raw as possible because that's the base of the channel. That's what I built it on. Realistic, without any other thing in it, no BS in it, just straight from me to you. So I'm asking you guys, what do you want to see from the channel? I'm serious, what do you want to see from the channel? Like, we all have different ways of doing it. And guys, this is a voting system as well. Get down in the comments and like the ones you resonate with, because I look at the likes in the comments as well. I look at what comments are getting likes. If people just say F off, then I usually block them. But, you know, I've blocked a couple of people who do that. They get on the videos and say, oh, well, go away then. And I'm just like, okay, then. How about you go away? Block. You don't have to be on my channel if you don't want to be here. And I see a piece of fluff flying around in front of my face. It's annoying. But what do you want to see from the channel? I'm not going to put an end screen on this video. I want to know in the comments. I want to know from all you guys, what do you want to see from the channel? Do you want to see more reactions? Do you want me to start reacts as a different channel, or do you want reaction videos on this channel? And even then, like the reaction videos, I've been trying to like figure out OBS, how to like record full res so I can merge them all together. Or do I just keep it as simple without any editing, have my little box down in the corner and not even have it at full screen sometimes? Have it in its little corner and just be like, just raw reaction, not even edited, just straight out the top of my head, recorded, put straight on YouTube. What do you want to see? Like, what do you want to see more of? And honestly, if you tag me in, you don't have to just do it through what's it called? You don't have to just do it through YouTube. You can also message me on Instagram. I've got my Instagram messages there. I'm always reading my Instagram messages. But I don't know. It's hard being a YouTube sometimes. And I want to know what you have to say about it. I want to know what you guys want, because I honestly don't know what you guys want. And sometimes some of you say, oh, bring back the movies that made me. And then bring it back and it does no views. It does like 300 views. I'm like, okay, making videos for 300 views is not a viable kind of thing. You know, time is obviously a priority here, and I don't want to waste time if something's not being watched, you know? And look, YouTubers all experience this. It's not burnout, it's just reality. I have a certain amount of time that I can cover a certain amount of topics each day. And at that, I also have a certain amount of time I can put into each video to get it polished up on. I use LumaFusion to edit, and then post it to YouTube. Fix the audio up, make sure it's not proof watch, what's it called? Quality control, do quality checks, and then, you know, upload it. And sometimes quality checks don't pass, but if it's out of sync by a second but catches back up the next scene, I'll be like, you know what? Let's just keep it. But, you know, I'm editing, I'm doing everything myself. And yeah, it's hard being a YouTuber. Very hard. And if you want to be a YouTuber, just be aware of what you're getting into. But what do you guys want to see from the channel? I'll leave it here with you guys, and I'm not going to do any fancy sign-off. Geraldo will do a fancy sign-off, though. Geraldo likes to do sign-offs. Geraldo loves it. Don't let the camera.